Record. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and hit screen share. Where is that? Share screen.
There you go.
Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and read this disclaimer. The opportunity of a lifetime, or this meeting here tonight, is brought to you by Independent Plexus Ambassadors. It is not sponsored by Plexus Worldwide. At Plexus Worldwide, we want you to know that the results you're about to hear may vary from person to person. We do not claim to cure, treat, or prevent any disease. So the purpose of tonight is just to really share our story. Like if someone were to sit down in our living room and say, okay, tell me how you got into Plexus. And, you know, how has your experience been so far? That's what we want to share. And kind of a lot of it is going to be from Chris's perspective as the husband. So, I think first we're just going to start off with kind of our health history to kind of give you an idea of why we would even look into Plexus. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease. It's an autoimmune disorder that affects my thyroid 6 years ago when we were going through fertility treatments. And slowly over the years, it's impacted my health more and more. To where it's probably fair to say my health was like deteriorating. Like it certainly wasn't improving by any means. But just to get through the day, I had to take at least a 1 to 2 hour nap. I mean, it was just normal for me to say to Chris, like, hey, I'm going to go lay down and rest. And then he knew by the end of the day, like I was shot completely. So not just that, but then I'd have insomnia at night. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. What else? My metabolism, so just energy, no energy, real intense fatigue. I couldn't even do much exercise because it just sucked the life out of me. And then also just because of my thyroid and having no metabolism, I just had a real inability to lose weight. And not that I was overly concerned with my weight, but over the years and getting into my mid-30s, you know, I kept every year putting on another pound, and just couldn't ever drop it, no matter what diet or exercise I tried. So that was my health background, and I've tried all sorts of stuff. I've tried diets and exercise and being gluten-free and supplements. I've tried all sorts of supplements in the past. Nothing really did anything. So Chris is going to share his kind of health history too.
Yeah, so I guess I could even go back to like my teenage years because I actually grew up playing sports, playing football. And by the time I got into my early 20s, I was already struggling a lot with just like muscle pain, joint pain, things like that. And just always approached it with the perspective of, you know, if I work out and get in shape, then I won't feel like this. And yet I don't know why I always thought that, because I always tried to get in shape and I always still felt in pain all the time. But especially once I got into my 30s, the joint pain started getting pretty bad, to the point where, you know, I'd wake up every day and it would hurt to get out of bed, and I would sit in a chair and, you know, still be stiff when I got out, and just looked around at other people my age and didn't seem to notice them being quite as old as I felt. And then the other thing that started happening is I was a teacher, and so I spent a lot of time studying, a lot of times trying to think through things. And I started noticing year after year this brain fog starting to set in, getting to the point where it really was taking a lot of effort for me to read. It was taking a lot of effort for me to be able to wrap my mind around my thoughts and even communicate them. And in fact, it would get worse and worse. And this is really just a random thing, but I would always notice when I was getting extra tired, because anytime I tried to articulate myself or articulate my thoughts, I would actually start to stutter a lot. I just had a lot of trouble even getting my brain seemed to function. So joint pain and brain fog were the main issues, and I continued to pursue answers, try to figure out ways to get healthy. Do you want me to talk about going to the doctor?
Sure.
Or so I think it was maybe 3 years ago. I actually went to the doctor and talked to them about rheumatoid arthritis, which she felt like I had. But after testing, come to find out, I tested negative for rheumatoid arthritis, but she said I sounded like an old person with arthritis. It would have been last June. Things were getting so bad that it was affecting my work. I couldn't think straight. So I decided to go to a doctor here in Houston, where we live now, and told him my story. And, he came up with a couple crazy ideas of what might be wrong with me. And I was just getting very frustrated because I knew that my health wasn't what it should be, but doctors weren't giving me any kind of answers. They weren't, they were just trying to get me on, pills for, I don't know, just things like depression. And I'm looking at them going, well, even if I am depressed, it doesn't explain the way I've felt for so many years. Why is my health like this? And they would just kind of shrug their shoulders. So I didn't want to just treat peripheral issues. Like, I really wanted to get healthy, and they couldn't help me do that. So sleep apnea, do you want me to bring that in too? Or?
Well, yeah, and we just tried everything. Like, neither of us slept well ever. And so, like, we bought a new mattress, and we would try different diets and different exercise regimens. Like, both of us together were like, we feel so crummy. We're just constantly looking for answers. So it was a year ago, January, we were at our small group from church, and my thyroid was just so off. I was becoming like useless as a person, and not a fun person to live with. And so I just shared a prayer request at my small group saying, hey, can y'all pray for this? I need to find a doctor and get my meds under control and everything. And so later that week, my friend from my small group mentioned Plexus. And I had never heard of it before. And she just quickly explained it was a health and wellness company that sells, a line of supplements. And I've never been opposed to supplements. I've tried supplements, and I have friends and family that supplements have helped them and their health tremendously, actually. But they've never done anything for me. And so Chris and I had just bought our first home. It was a major fixer-upper, and our entire budget was going into the house. We just did not have any wiggle room to start Plexus. And I tell her now, I joke with her now, I'm like, if you had shared the business and the compensation plan with me way back when, I would have jumped right on board, because we needed the money. We were like worse than paycheck to paycheck. We were dipping in savings every month and didn't really see in the future being able to replenish that savings. So I tell her now, I'm like, you should have shared the business with me right away. So she was very consistent for 6 months and shared how Plexus was helping other people with Hashimoto's, and was sharing testimonies with me. And I just kept saying no thanks, or I would just flat out ignore her sometimes. And finally, in July, our budget had kind of freed up a little, and I had been taking supplements from another company, actually more expensive than Plexus at the time, and still they weren't doing anything for me. And so I went to Chris the end of June, the beginning of July, and said, Rachel's been sharing with me about Plexus. Like, what do you think about me giving it a try? And what did you say?
So I don't know if I've told you this yet, but So I knew Rachel was into Plexus, and I knew Plexus was a multi-level marketing company because Amanda had just mentioned it to me. And to be super honest, my initial thought, and I hate to say this, but I think it's relevant because I think a lot of guys are like this, but right away I assumed that I knew what Rachel's motivations were. Like right away I assumed that Rachel needed to build her team so she could make more money, therefore she wanted to sign us up. Like that was the bottom line. And so that was the first thought that went through my mind was, like almost like we're being manipulated. And I hate to say that, but that is what went through my mind. But here's what the issue was for me. I knew my wife's health was bad, and I knew what she was currently taking wasn't cutting it, wasn't getting the job done. So if there's anything that I learned, gosh, how many years did we know that you had thyroid?
Like 5.5 years.
5.5 years. All right. So I'm going to go back in time just a little bit on that. Okay. When she first told me she was diagnosed with the autoimmune disorder, I was incredibly insensitive to her health. I'll never forget how many afternoons she would tell me about her fatigue. I was very frustrated with the fact she didn't have more energy. She couldn't spend more time with people. Why is she napping all the time? How come she doesn't have the energy to even talk to me? And really for so long, probably daily, I would say things like, have you drank enough water today? Maybe you need to change your diet. Maybe you need to start exercising. And she would say things to me like, Chris, I don't have the energy to exercise, or our diet is fine. Like we're not eating junk food.
We're very honest with each other.
So one of the things I started to learn, it literally took me years, which I feel like a moron, but it's true, is that as a husband, I need to seriously consider what my wife is telling me about her health. I can't just deny the fact that she's telling me she feels horrible and she has no energy. And so even though I didn't have any answers for her other than you need to get off the couch and exercise and you'll feel better, I knew she felt crummy. And so when she brought Plexus to me, really for me, it was almost just out of obligation as a husband. If she wants to try this, fine. What are the chances it actually does anything better than any other supplements? I don't know, but let her try it. We were already spending money on other supplements, so let's put it into Plexus and fine, give it a go. But that's all I want. Other than that, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So
yeah, I pretty much, bottom line, I said, what if it works? Like maybe it won't, but what if it does? And so that was kind of, that glimmer of hope of thinking, what if this helps me? Kind of why I jumped in. So July 4th weekend, I texted my friend and said, okay, let's do this. I'm ready to jump in. And I signed up as an ambassador for the wholesale prices because I wanted it as cheap as I could get. And I also went into it knowing and understanding supplements that they take a long time to address your health. So I went into it thinking like, I'm going to give this 6 months. Like I want to give this a fair shot to help me get healthy. I know that supplements aren't a quick fix. So those were my expectations. So I signed up July 4th and spent kind of like the next few days actually looking into Plexus as a company and looking into the business, the compensation plan, because I knew as an ambassador that there was that opportunity there. That was, if I wanted to earn enough to get my products paid for, or we were in such a place financially that even like an extra $300 a month was thrilling. Like we would even say to each other, like, what would we do with an extra few $100s a month? Like, would we save it? Or we could actually like go out to eat if we wanted to. We could actually go to the movies, we could go to the dentist, just like basic stuff that we didn't have the money to do so tight. So even just that thought was exciting to think, what if I could make a few $100 a month? So what I found over those few days that I studied out Plexus and studied out the compensation plan I learned a few things. I learned about Plexus as a company. I learned that it was a young company. It was purchased in 2008, and had incredible growth right away. From 2010 to 2013, the company grew over 16,000%. So booming company that, for me, that built my confidence and told me a brand new company is not going to see that much growth if their products aren't working. So that was my thought. And then saw that on the Inc. 5000 list, a reputable site and magazine, said that in 2014, Plexus was number 8 on the list of fastest growing independently owned companies. They were number 2 in the health and wellness category. And so there was just another reputable source saying Plexus is growing they're legitimately growing as a company. I also looked into the compensation plan. And I've never done multi-level marketing before, but the compensation plan was appealing to me because I could start earning right away. There wasn't any quotas like to meet or any ranks that I had to achieve in order to earn money. I could just start sharing right away. So after those few days of looking into that and getting really excited just about the possibility of a little bit of extra money, I went back to Chris and said, what would you think if I worked the business? Like if I went for it and started sharing it? And you said,
well, it honestly really bothered me because at that point I didn't know if Plexus worked. So
yeah, we didn't even have our products yet in the mail.
Yeah. So for people, I mean, Amanda knows this. I do sales, but I hate sales. And I've always told myself the only way I would ever sell anything is if I was convinced that it was worth people's money and if it was something that they genuinely needed. So that's the only reason why I'm doing the job that I am now with the company I am now, is because I really believe in the product. So for her to want to work the business really scared me because it kind of felt to me like we were going to end up manipulating people, into buying Plexus when, what if this stuff doesn't really work? But she's convinced that there's something different about it already. So I kind of just blanked out, lost my train of thought. But
like when I came to you about the business.
Yeah. So for me, well, I'll say that going back to what she was saying about a few $100s a month, I mean, my knowledge of MLMs from other companies that I'm familiar with, I mean, I was thinking like $100, a couple $100s a month was like a dream. I was thinking, how hard is she going to have to work just for us to get our product paid for? For me, I thought that was a big goal. I thought that was that would be a great if she could actually accomplish that. But I was kind of skeptical, why would anyone buy this in the first place? So where I was at is I was like, my health is so bad. Doctors aren't helping me at all. So I'm going to try Plexus with you. I'll give it a month or two, just on my end. I'm not thinking it's going to work, but I'll try it. So. And
I was working 2 jobs outside of the house already as well. Like I was looking for ways to contribute to our family financially because his job wasn't enough to cover our bills. And so I worked 1 night a week somewhere and then was a fitness instructor as well, still am. So because of his hesitancy, and he said, I really would prefer we don't do this until we know if the product works, I approached the business and approached my sharing on Facebook by saying, I don't know if this stuff works, but I'm going to start taking it and I'm going to let you know how it goes. And so every day I posted a little bit of just my experience of saying, this is what I'm taking, this is how I'm feeling. So I wasn't saying this stuff works. It was like, I'm just starting out. And so that's how I approached my business the first month. Well, just to give a quick summary of my first month with Plexus, by the end of the first month, and this was with me putting out effort with my business, but not putting out a ton. I think I worked about 15 minutes a day, maybe 30 minutes a day, some days. By the end of the month, I had 6 ambassadors and about 7 customers, and I had made twice as much as my other 2 jobs combined. Easily.
Yeah, easily. It was crazy.
My products were paid for 4 times over.
Yeah.
Our product, I should say both of our products were paid for 4 times over.
Yeah, we've never paid for our products.
No.
Never.
No. My paychecks always covered them. So, I remember like that month, like after 2 weeks of working, me coming to him being like, hey, I got my products paid for. I got our products paid for. He was like, awesome. And then the 3rd week, me coming and saying, I think I'm going to make this much this month. And by the 4th week saying, this is how much I made. And you were like, what?
I'm like I'm smiling, on the inside going, I can't believe this. But on the outside, I'm going, but we don't know if this stuff works.
But it was helping me. Like my first month, I wouldn't say I was healthy my first month, but it was doing something. I was aware that it was doing something. I was sleeping better at night. Other things as well, other health benefits as well. But I could tell it was doing something for me. Months went by.
That's what she claimed. I didn't believe it.
He didn't believe me. But it was. And we started giving it to our daughters the 2nd week, and there was an immediate difference in our daughter's behavior, and she started gaining weight, and she has always been under the 1st percentile on the growth charts. She had a lot of medical issues when she was an infant, and doctors have always been concerned about her weight gain. And in 2 months, she was able to gain 4 pounds, which was huge for her. So I was having results. Our daughters were having results, and he was still like, I'm not sure. So my business kept growing. And his results were not, well, you had initial results.
Can I chime in with one other thought? Okay, so here's another thing that was going on in the back of my mind. So like I said, when Rachel approached Amanda, there was a side of me that was convinced that I knew what her motivations were. I knew what all these MLM, multi-level marketing people, they're just trying to get their team built. It's really all about them. I'm completely honest about this. Watching Amanda had a huge impact on my perspective of the business. Because from the very beginning, there was no doubt in my mind as I listened to her talk and share with people that she was working hard for people. Like she believed in Plexus. She knew it could help people, so much so that she was willing to share it with other people. And I could watch other people do that in the back of my mind, assume that I know what's in their heart, but I really knew why she was doing this. And I knew not only was she trying to help our family, but she really did believe that this could help people. I mean, she had people from all over the world in the middle of jungles signing up because they needed help getting their health where it should be so they can minister effectively. And it really convicted me because I thought I understood everyone's heart who was doing this and that somehow they're just, in it for themselves. But she convinced me, and so has Plexus over time, but she convinced me that the people that are doing this may not actually be doing it just for themselves. They may not be just feeding you a load of crud, just because they want you to buy the product. They may actually really genuinely care about you. And I really do believe that that's what I saw in Amanda, and that had just a massive impact on my perspective. Now, other than that, I can't remember what else you asked me right then. But
yeah, well, to tag off of that, that was my very first ambassador is a missionary in a jungle in Indonesia. One of my customers that first month, their family lives in Senegal, Africa. And so, my first month, I had this vision of this could be huge. Like this could be huge for impacting not just my local and stateside friends and family, but if I could help people overseas get healthy and be able to stay on the mission field because they're healthy, that is our heart. That's our heart. And so that just kind of gave me a mission that I was working towards now. It's like bigger than just getting our products paid for. And also that, but my friends were starting the products and seeing results right away. Those customers and those ambassadors that were taking the products were seeing results, and their health, their like long-term health issues were being resolved the same way mine were starting to be resolved. And they were starting to share Plexus with their friends and family that they care about, and they were earning money. And other wives and stay-at-home moms that they would tell me, I don't feel like I have anything to contribute to my family. I've never been to college. I have kids. I can't leave the house. They're now making paychecks, and they're able to help their family and contribute to their family while they're getting healthy and they're helping others. So in a sense, I was multiplying myself, multiplying my efforts of sharing Plexus and sharing the business opportunity with people as well. So you were not seeing any health benefits. Oh, your original health benefits for like a week.
Oh, well, yeah.
You saw like a week of results and then it went away.
Oh, yeah. The first week I was like, man, Plexus is amazing. And then the second week, all the dramatic things that I saw kind of went away. Well, so I travel a lot. So the very first week, I'm taking Plexus, had this new motivation. I was going to eat healthy. So I just ate like avocados and peppers and things like all week, and chocolate. But then the second week when I got home, I'm eating cookies and, all kinds of junk. And I was like, man, why are my cravings back? But anyway, so
kind of sabotaged.
Yeah, I kind of sabotaged myself. But initially I did see some nice results with Plexus. But as far as the head fog and energy, joint pain, stuff like that, didn't see a whole lot initially.
So fast forward like 3 months to October with sleep apnea and stuff.
Yeah. So behind the scenes, a lot of what was going on is I just kept pursuing answers because, like I said, I knew something was wrong. I knew there were big issues going on that were causing me to feel the way that I did. In fact, I would sit in our small group every week and listen to everyone talk and not be able to follow the conversation. And it was really killing me. As a guy who's a thinker and a teacher, I couldn't even articulate, my thoughts. So kept going to the doctor, and eventually sleep apnea got brought up because my dad has it. And he says, sorry. He said, you look like your dad, therefore you have your dad's problems. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, Dad. So we tested for sleep apnea, and sure enough, found out that I had it. So started having to use a CPAP to make sure that I actually breathe at night and things like that, because, that's definitely a major contributor to some of the things that I was feeling. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you had sleep apnea, you started your CPAP, and then I came up with the idea a couple months later in like December. I was like, well, All right, so here it is December. So he has been on Plexus consistently for 5 months, no results. I said, oh, go ahead.
Honestly, in my mind, I didn't think there were any results.
Yeah,
Well, because, it wasn't clear enough for me to be convinced that it was Plexus that was having any impact. I didn't know.
You had changed so much. Yeah. It's like your diet had changed and your CPAP had changed. It was just hard to know. So I said, why don't you quit Plexus? Why don't you quit Plexus and just see what happens? Because I'm now 5 months into it. I've seen all of these lives change around me, on my team and my customers. I'm now convinced in the products, and I'm like, there is no way that you are taking these amazing, life-changing products and putting all this good stuff into your body, and it's not doing anything for you. Like, it wasn't even like logical in my mind. I'm like, you are putting so much good stuff into your body right now. It has to be helping you. It has to. So he was traveling in December, and then we had the holidays, and he was like, I'm going to wait till after the holidays and wait till after all the holiday food.
Yes.
And so I think it was like right after Christmas, he stopped cold turkey. I mean, he stopped all the products.
Yeah, no, some background is I had seen some improvement, in the way that I felt, and even my job performance. I was actually doing better at my job because I could think clearer. I could focus more in reading. That my energy level had been a little extra. I'd started exercising. So in my mind, it's probably not plexus that's actually, causing these benefits. It's probably, maybe sleep, maybe exercise, the same thing that I always said was the answer. So she says, fine, quit plexus. I said, fine, I will. So I quit plexus, and the best way that I can describe it is I had actually forgotten how crummy I felt. Because as soon as I got off of plexus, like within a couple of days, I remember getting on a bed and my feet and my knees and my joints were killing me again. And I remember just thinking, oh my goodness, this is how I felt months ago. And I had forgot that that's what it was like, because really for weeks, even a couple of months, my joint pain had been decreasing and going away. And I didn't even recognize it. I didn't realize it. Other than that, I wasn't sleeping as well. And
exercise.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I was so excited, before that I had started exercising, and when I would get done exercising, I would feel amazing. So I'm thinking, I'm off of plexus, I'm going to keep exercising and just show that's the answer. So I stopped taking plexus, and I remember just thinking, okay, I need to go exercise today. Man, I did not want to exercise at all. I was just zapped of energy, but I made myself go anyway. So I went, I did my normal workout routine, and I came back home, and the rest of the afternoon, I just crashed. I felt so exhausted. I had no energy. And it was like night and day, because when I was on plexus, I would go, I was doing sprints. I was doing an intense workout. I would get done, and I would feel amazing the rest of the day. Till I went to sleep, I felt great. Got off of plexus, I was completely zapped. I had no energy. And I did that a few times that week, and no amount of exercise was helping me out. And my joint pain was, like I said, my joint pain was bad. I was eating food like crazy.
And how long did it take for you to feel this bad?
Oh, it just took days. Really a couple of days. Like 2 days. There was a noticeable difference. I think inflammation is an underlying issue, and that came back very quickly. So, yeah.
So it didn't take long, and you were like, I want my plexus back.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much my health had actually been improving until I stopped taking it. And so obviously, as crummy as I'd been feeling, I didn't want to continue. I wanted to actually get back on plexus, and I wanted to start feeling better again, because life was no fun without the benefits that I had been seeing.
Yeah. So one thing we're not talking about during this hour is all the products, and what they are, like what we were taking and what we were doing. But let me just quickly summarize and say that Plexus is all natural, it's plant-based, it's gluten-free, it's GMO-free, it is safe. There's OBGYNs that recommend it and approve it for pregnant women, for nursing women. There's oncologists that approve it for cancer patients. So you think of the two most fragile kind of people, fragile patients in the world, right? Pregnant moms and cancer patients. And doctors are approving it for them to take. Very safe products. But what they address are the root problems of our health: blood sugar, gut health, and inflammation. And so when those three things are addressed, your internal health, your overall internal health improves, and you slowly see outward signs. So you're getting your insides healthy. And that's what I love about Plexus. It's not a quick fix, which I think speaks to the integrity of the products, because there's no such thing as a quick fix. So the fact that these are not a quick fix tells me that they're legit.
That's for me one of the things that convinces me all the more about them too, is that they're not a quick fix. They're actually working at a deeper level. And so I actually believe I mean, there's a lot of people I think take the products for a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they're like, where's my results? How come I don't feel amazing, or how come I haven't lost 10 pounds? But when Plexus is working on the inside, with inflammation and gut health and all the other amazing benefits of it, these are things that take a long time to actually reap the benefits. And it took me 6 months, and I honestly believe in 6 more months, I will see even more improvement because of how Plexus works. So anyway, that convinced me all the more that these products are legit. These are the real deal. These aren't just covering over issues. They're actually going down and actually meeting me where my real needs are. Instead of giving me a pill to some kind of cover over it, they're actually working at the level I needed them to. So.
And on the business side, so 6 months in, products are working for him. The business is working for me. I was now halfway to replacing his income. So I was making half as much as him with my Plexus business, which, how does that make you feel?
Oh man, more power to you. Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
So with that, what would you say are normal? So that's our story. So what would you say kind of our normal skeptical thoughts, or what would keep, I don't know, what am I trying to ask here?
So just in general,
why would if a wife goes to her husband and says, hey, my friend shared Plexus with me and I really want to do it, and the husband goes, no way.
Yeah.
What, because that happens all the time. I'm not singling out anyone. That happens all the time. The husband says, no way. What advice would you give, or what do you think even contributes to that skepticism?
Well, I think there's probably a lot, but just a few thoughts. First of all, like I mentioned earlier, I'm actually in sales, and I actually sell a very important product that most guys that I talk to actually need. So here's what I find. So I speak at conferences. If I'm speaking at a women's conference and I share what I sell, they line up at the table and they're saying, just tell me what I need, I'm ready to buy it. Okay, if I do the same presentation at a men's conference, a few guys trickle by and go, that's interesting. I need to talk to my wife about that. So statistically, women make about 85 to 95% of the purchases in the home. Okay, men are not consumers. Men do not want to spend money. I don't care if you make 6 figures, you're a tightwad more than likely. And unless it's something that you really, really want, you're probably not going to spend that money. I think that's just by nature how guys are. And so, I think it's not just with Plexus. I think it's across the board with products in general. So first of all, I guess I would say to men that, if you're actually holding your wife back when it comes to their health, and they know they need something, they need a solution, you're actually doing more harm than you are good, and you're not considering them. You may not even be considering the needs of your family, even your friends, because you purely want to be a skeptic who just doesn't want to spend money, when there's a great product out there. There's a great option out there that your wife is saying, hey, we should consider this. And really for no reason, you just want to not consider it. That's how I was. And I think that's how guys are in general. So first of all, I'm not surprised. Second of all, I think sometimes guys assume that the people out there sharing Plexus are just in it for themselves. That's how I was. But my response to that would be, man, learn from me, and we need to quit assuming we can read and judge the hearts of the people that are sharing. Don't assume that they're just in it for themselves. Don't assume they're in it just to manipulate you so they can make money. I've especially seen this in Plexus, that people out there are sharing this because they want to help people, and they really genuinely believe that these products can benefit the lives of others, whether it's for health or financially. People are genuinely looking to serve and help other people. So quit trying to judge other people's hearts, because you shouldn't do it. You don't know what's in there. So learn from me. Don't go there. Another thing I jotted down is I think we are easy. I did this literally for years. We are quick to deny and negate the things our wives, our loved ones are telling us about their own health. They're coming to us saying, I'm exhausted all the time, I'm having this issue or that issue. And we say things like, well, drink more water, fix your diet, get more exercise. And they're telling us they feel horrible and they need a solution, and we're being insensitive. And really, we're not doing anything to show that we really genuinely care about their needs. And so I think as guys, we need to just kind of take a step back and say, you know what? I really need to hear what my wife or my loved ones are saying. I might not even take a step back and need to consider my own health and quit denying what I'm seeing, and realize that even I need a solution. I need an answer, because I don't want to keep functioning the way that I am. I don't want to feel this crummy. I want to be able to play with my kids and not be exhausted. Man, I want to be able to throw the Frisbee with my girls, 10 years from now and still feel great, and not the next morning get out of bed and start crying because I'm in such pain, So I think, we really need to consider these things and need to realize that diet and exercise aren't always the answer. All right. Diet and exercise aren't always going to do the trick. And, most of us, probably all of us, need supplements. That's just reality. That's how it is. Unless you're going to do some incredibly drastic changes and eat only like grass-fed cow butter and what's that carrageenan that everyone's criticizing? It's in like all our food. I don't know. You're going to have to make some drastic changes, but supplements are there to help us improve our health. And then the last thing, I think MLMs are a big issue, and I won't go into all the details there, but if you're critical of MLMs, I would say that you probably haven't looked into it very much. If you're critical of Plexus because it's an MLM, you probably don't know much about it, because every critical thought I had of an MLM Plexus, I would step back and I would ask myself, is this legitimate? Like, if I use this criteria, to judge any other company, would they be better than Plexus? And the answer is no. In fact, Plexus, I would say, is a better company than most that I know of. So anyway, if your criticism is, well, it's an MLM, you need to really step back and think through it, because more than likely you're going to realize, you know what, my thoughts are totally illegitimate here. I really need to give them up, because all they're doing is keeping us from pursuing health. And there's really no weight to my thoughts. So anyway, sorry, I get kind of excited about this because, I've been...
Because he's convinced now.
Because I'm convinced now. I really am. Plexus is an amazing company, and the products really can help people. So anyway, we don't want to take too much time, but...
Yeah. So, well, my other question was going to be just, what have you learned? So we've kind of talked about how you've convinced of the products. You've seen that they're helping you. You're convinced of the compensation plan, because you're seeing how I'm able to significantly contribute to the family. What about the company? Like, what would you say about Plexus as a company?
Well,
like, are they out to get us? Are they, like, what are their...
I can't say a whole lot in like specific statistics or anything like that. But what I can say is that what I've seen over and over is that Plexus is extremely generous. They are not out to just get the top 10%, rich and then take advantage of all the people underneath them. This company was started to truly benefit the lives of other people. And that's not only for health, but also financially. And they created a compensation plan unlike any other compensation plan. So the people out there that are sharing and actually bring people in and getting people to use the products, they are very generously compensated. And man, I work for a really good company. I really do. But when I look at the integrity that the leadership of Plexus has, the generosity that they show, their leadership, the vision, I am super impressed with Plexus. I really have no hesitations towards them anymore, even though I thought it was all a big scam in the beginning. But yeah.
Yeah, the compensation plan was actually designed with the ambassadors in mind, not with the company in mind. So they wanted a compensation plan where if someone like me came along and said, I want to make money and I want to make significant money. It's possible with the compensation plan that there's never a place where like you just plateau and you don't keep earning, or you end up losing money. It's $34.95 to join. That's it. Plus just whatever you pay for products. We don't have to inventory. Like we don't have a closet full of Plexus stuff. I don't throw any parties. It's all done online. Stay-at-home moms can do this. People with full-time jobs can do this. So it's user-friendly. It's ambassador-friendly. And generous is like an understatement with Plexus, that if you work, it's not easy money. There's no such thing as easy money. But if you work consistently, and by consistently, I just mean a little bit of time every day, and learn the business, because it's a legitimate business, you will be compensated and compensated well.
I'll just throw this out. I actually have a degree in business, and I work for a very successful business. And watching my wife and watching the other people in Plexus who have succeeded, I am so amazed by the skills that they have learned. I mean, I'll be off on this training, learning, some new sales, how to vision, whatever it is, learning these great things these great companies are talking about. And then I come home and I'm listening to Amanda talk, and she's showing me this Plexus video, and they're talking about the same thing. And I'm sitting back like just blown away by the level of skill and learning. I mean, Amanda, she manages this team that she has, and the way that she casts vision and she trains them and she equips them. She has learned, I think a lot of it she had naturally, but the skills that she's learning, like I would trade my business degree. I would trade that any day to be able to be a part of a company like Plexus, because you actually learn hands-on skills. You learn management. You learn how to communicate vision. You learn how to help people understand their need. I mean, there's so many things that you learn through this job just on a personal level. It's incredibly beneficial. I mean, she's helping me learn how to actually prioritize my goals and set them for my own personal ministry, because things that she's learning in Plexus. And so regardless of why you're in it, there are so many benefits. Even if it's just personal growth and personal development, you can find that in Plexus. So it's great. Yeah. Anyway.
So the last thing we wanted to do was just share the potential for the business in Plexus, because I think numbers speak to men. Is that fair? That like give me the facts type?
Well, I was just saying numbers speak to men, but these numbers are not inflated. These are legitimate numbers. When you look at them and you see that my wife is senior gold, these numbers are completely accurate. And you see that I am more than silver. These numbers are completely accurate.
So how do I maximize this? That right there?
That little green thing right there.
This?
Yep. Oh, you're trying to slide here, right there.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the average annual ambassador income disclosure from Plexus. So you can see I'm a senior gold ambassador. So that is my average annual income. Chris is a silver ambassador, but really he's in between silver and gold with where he's at. So you add that up, add up those, two columns or whatever, and significant difference for our family.
In what, 7 months?
Yeah, 7 months. So huge contribution to the family. I have friends that are senior ruby. I have friends that are emeralds. I have friends that are diamonds. And once you hit emerald and above, you get a free Lexus from Plexus. So you get a free car, you get free vacations every single year, and it is legitimate. Again, that's not just like a few people in the country that have those positions. I know many, many people that are emerald, sapphire, and diamond ambassadors. I'm senior gold, headed for ruby, headed up there. And it's not, we've already shared our heart. It is not about money. It's about what we could do as a family. That our heart is not, let's see, where am I trying to go here?
Well, they still see us fine. So
all right. Well, I was wanting to stop the screen share. Oh, there it is. That's what I wanted.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. So our heart is not, we are not money hungry people. Okay. We were missionaries for 8 years. Like, that's not our heart.
Well, that's the issue. That's what's so exciting for us is extra income gives us more opportunity to do the things that we want to do with our money, which isn't buying fancier cars. I mean, we'll get a Lexus, but it's actually being able to use that money for the benefit of other people. And if something like doing Plexus a little bit on the side allows you to have an extra income to give more, that's exactly,
like, why not?
Why not? Why wouldn't you love it? I mean, especially if it's helping people get healthy. But sorry, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not about the money. It's the opportunities that could be met with the money. So our heart is giving. Our heart is helping people. Our heart is adoption. Our 2 girls are adopted. And the only thing holding us back from adopting again is finances. And so again, it's what could that money enable us to do as a family to better be who we want to be. So anything else you want to share, Mr. Passionate? Plexus passion.
I don't know. I mean, I get being a skeptic, and I get the concerns, I get the doubts, I really do. But if you're just being a skeptic just to be a skeptic, that's never going to get you anywhere in life. If you really want to pursue answers here with Plexus and you think, you know what, I wonder if they're telling the truth here. Could this help me in my health? Then try it. If you're wondering, is Plexus legit as a company? Then research it, look into it. Quit just being a skeptic. Sorry. Don't just be a skeptic. Just to be a skeptic, but seriously, man, don't miss out on a great opportunity. Because man, it really is. It's great. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Just calming you down.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Calm down. Alrighty.
Must be Plexus.
It must be that Plexus energy.
Yeah.
But thanks everyone for coming tonight. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.